Here we are again, and so soon after the previous installment, we have yet another South Park TV movie release on the way in the next week or so. This, of course, being a direct sequel titled Post-COVID, The Return of COVID, which I guess does seem kind of ironic with how current world events seem to be unfolding. The release date is December 16th, 2021, where it'll be streaming on Paramount+. For those not in the loop, this special is part of an exclusive lineup of TV movies which came as part of a deal signed several months ago. Sadly, this does mean the special will not be airing on television. You can, however, still grab a promotional free trial of Paramount+, which will allow you to watch both specials without the need to buy yet another streaming service. You can find more on this from the South Park social media pages, where as of the time of recording this video, they have a couple of promotional codes available for newcomers. Of course, alternatively, you can just use a VPN or set sail if you're brave enough.
The land of pirates awaits! Pirates Hill!
For the post-COVID special, I personally really enjoyed it for the most part. I see the general consensus was mostly positive, with this having a fair rating on websites such as IMDb. It's a good sign for things to come where this kind of content is appreciated. It always feels kind of experimental when South Park does try something new, but this clearly seemed to work in their favour. Coming off the previous special, there was one question in my mind throughout. Where is Butters? Butters Stotch is one of my personal favourite characters on the show, and I know for sure he is a fan favourite. All throughout the episodes, particularly looking at crowd scenes, I was pausing and checking the background character designs to see if Butters was present, and of course, he wasn't. Then by the end of this special, we had a big reveal of sorts. Throughout the second and third act, the name Victor Chouse was thrown around. It was mainly in reference to Dr. Kenny McCormick, who was supposedly conversing with this mysterious figure when researching the pandemic. By the end, the enigmatic character in charge of the asylum gives food to Chouse. As the shot tracks to the right, the name and serial number for the inmate is revealed. Of course, Victor Chouse is indeed Butters. Confirming this theory without overtly spelling it out, this shot contains a fantastic Easter egg. These numbers on the wall refer to the date and episode Professor Chaos. Season 6, Episode 6 was the episode which aired on April 10th, 2002. As for what mental state Butters will be in, I honestly have no idea what to expect. Being stuck in a padded cell, he has basically received the ultimate grounding.
Hi, Mom and Dad!
Don't you hi, Mom and Dad, us, you little punk!
Oh, Dad!
For what exactly? I guess we will have to wait and find out in the next week or so. I also really love this Doctor-style character who appears to know something in conjunction with Butters. Whether or not he knows something relating to the pandemic, I guess time will tell on this notion also. The character design is fantastic, and I really love the chilling voice as well, where the look of this character appears to be inspired by Dr. Pretorius. This is a character featured in the 1930s Universal monster classic Bride of Frankenstein. Leading up to the conclusion, I liked how the whole plot was centralized on Kenny McCormick and the way his so-called friends treated him. As I referenced in my previous video, the boys had essentially decided to split up to an extent. Revealed at the very end of this special, Kenny blames this separation for the fundamental breakdown of their shared determination to fix issues presented to them as a group. The pandemic, of course, being one of those issues. By the end, this revelation for Stan, Kyle, and Cartman that they were to blame was not expected. There was a lot to appreciate from the updated character designs. I did forget to mention just how strikingly obvious the adult Stan and Kyle designs look like the co-creators Trey Parker and Matt Stone. It's a fun nod to them both since they do also voice these characters on the show. I'm really intrigued by Cartman, who arguably had the biggest redesign and the most substantial changes brought to the table. We all know how Cartman works as a character. He is vindictive and manipulative. Both of these things particularly come together when Kyle is involved. Having grown up with Kyle, Cartman declared a variety of prejudiced remarks against the Jewish people over the years. Unbelievably, the future Cartman 40 or so years later seems to have really changed. Or has he? I loved how the creators handled Cartman's character progression. When I first saw the rabbi reveal, I was genuinely struggling to comprehend what I was seeing. Cartman as a rabbi, with a Jewish wife and 3 children? Kyle's facial expression perfectly sums up this scene.
Stop pretending you have a happy Jewish life!
Whether this is some kind of elaborate prank at Kyle's expense, or not, these scenes were some of the best parts of the entire special. For character development, what I feel is going to be more interesting is Cartman's reaction to Stan and Kyle wanting to alter the past. Following Kenny's research, the boys plot to go back in time and change history in order to save their future, with Cartman surprisingly satisfied with his future. In order to protect his family, it is implied he will not be part of this group effort.
Fuck Uncle Cal.
If anything, this could possibly set up Cartman to be the villain of this story. If Stan and Kyle succeed in changing the past, this would put Cartman's family at risk, something I feel Rabbi Cartman would not want to happen. From the minimal amount of marketing material, it does look as though the boys will succeed in traveling back in time. This cover photo from the South Park Facebook page shows Stan and Kyle interacting with the 4 boys. I believe this scene was originally featured in the vaccination special. Rabbi Cartman does look to join them in the past, where they are seen covered in foil while Stan announces to a currently unknown character that they are all from the future. One thing I do hope we see is Child Cartman run into Rabbi Cartman, which I am sure will be comedy gold. Randy and Stan's relationship was also an interesting piece of character progression. I did not expect things to become so dark in relation to what happened with Sharon and Shelley by sharing some responsibility for the demise of these characters. This was quite twisted. I also really appreciate the strange Blade Runner references where Randy escapes from this retirement home. In the upcoming special, it appears Randy is still of the belief that his weed will save the world from the pandemic. I find this unlikely, especially in comparison with the time travel story, but again, we shall see. As much as I know it pisses people off, I am somewhat glad to see Tegrity Farms still being continued. My hope is that by including this plot, it will bring an end to Randy's marijuana farming business. Randy did technically start the pandemic, so the creators have no choice but to make this part of the ongoing narrative. My one hope for this conclusion would be to have the Marsh family return to the residential area of South Park. This plot was funny at first, but it has been done to death. A fitting conclusion would be appropriate, and if time travel becomes a prominent part of this storyline, the show could even revert away from the Marsh family ever moving to Tegrity Farms. Just a thought, but I doubt this would happen in all honesty. Anyhow, that's going to wrap up my thoughts on the upcoming Return of COVID special. I hope you enjoyed. Be sure to leave a like down below if you did. Let me know your thoughts on this special in the comments down below. And for more content, be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel, DVD Review Studios.
Are you threatening me?